I've remembered something yesterday, kind of fleetingly, that I thought, whoa, that's amazing, and I just wanted to make a mental note of that and share it with you, really, because today it came up again in my thoughts, and I was thinking, I must hold on to that, because it's one of those, it wasn't exactly an epiphany, I'd say, but it's one of those thoughts that you think, if you connect the dots backwards, you think, wow, that's phenomenal. You can't really do it forwards, but backwards, sometimes in retrospect, you think, oh my God, that's just amazing. So here's what happened. On the height in 2016, about in the summer of 2016, on the height of my really bad period, when my first hospital had diagnosed me with cancer, had operated on me, and had subsequently given me chemotherapy, and after we found out it wasn't working, they said to me, well, there's really nothing we can do for you, and basically dropped me like a hot potato. And that was crazy. That was just one of those situations where you think, what? Are you serious about this? So, but just before we found the second hospital that then treated me and made me healthy again and gave me immunotherapy, through which I survived ultimately, there was this period of not knowing how my life would continue and if it was gonna continue. And it was a really serious, troublesome, phenomenally bad time, and literally the low point of that whole cancer journey, really. Well, one of the several low points there, but it was one that was extremely shocking, and we had greatly underestimated how terrible this cancer actually was. One of the things that happened, and you can read more about this in my book, Broken Bowels, Tales of a Super Survivor. One of the things that happened was that our neighbors, the wonderful Gladys and Donald, they said, hey, why don't you come to church with us? And there's a small kind of outpost of the Calvary Church. They meet on Miami Beach once a week on a Sunday at 10:30, and there's no obligation to come, but if you want to, go and come with us, and maybe you'll get some positive energy out of it. And neither Julia nor I are particularly religious, but it was one of those moments where I decided, you know what, I really want to go. I really need to go there. And I had this really strong urge to do so. And I did. I went, and we both went, and it was kind of a bit of a hoo-ha that to actually get there. It was as if a lot of stones had been thrown into our way on that Sunday morning when we went for the first time. And we went a few more times. And it's funny that this little outpost chapter has since then closed. But during the several times that we went there on Sundays, we met a woman whose name I forgot, whose name escapes me. I can see her face in front of me. She's very thin, she was extremely positive, and you could tell she had fallen on hard times before, and she was so positive, and it was just so nice to meet her among many of the other people that we met through that church. And we met after that place had closed down. We met at our local Starbucks on Ocean Drive, 2nd and Ocean, and it was one of those chance meetings. We hadn't planned this, but we happened to find each other there. Julia and I went there as slow as we could walk, or as I could walk at that time, and it was one of those things had gotten a little bit better a couple of months, 2-3 months after we went to church there for the first time. And this was kind of, we met the right doctors, we went and had hope again, and that was just so very, very important and so positive. And we talked about this and had a chat, and one of the things that we talked about was that, sometimes Starbucks has a bit of a weird policy of people sitting there for several hours and then not ordering drinks every 30 minutes, because of course they're not making enough money with that. one of the points that we talked about, it was my situation, my experience with the whole Calvary Church, and how much positive energy I got out of it, and the wonderful people we've met there. And at the end of the day, how my thinking changed from my life is going to end in the next 2 weeks to I have a serious chance of surviving this, and I will survive this, and I will get through this. And she said, hey, and this is the important part now, she said, hey, why don't you spread the word? Why don't you have a YouTube channel? And we just smiled about it, and she said, no, it's a really good idea, and you can tell your story, and you can tell people what you've been through. And I didn't actually say anything about that. I didn't tell her, hey, do you know what, I already have 2 YouTube channels. I didn't say that. I just said, that's a really good idea. And I think in my mind I was thinking, I wanted to write this book, and I wanted to make sure the story doesn't get forgotten, most importantly by myself, but also if this story and if how my emotional well-being changed in the eye of such news of, we have to take your bladder out, and we can't treat you anymore, and all that sort of nonsense, how you stare death in the face and say, whatever, dude. Jorge Garcia says that in Hawaii 5-0 in one of the seasons, and I thought that was such a cool thing to say. Stare death in the face and say, whatever, dude. That's just phenomenal. That is just so cool. And so I had my mind more set on that, and I didn't much mention any of my YouTube channels or what I'm doing there. And it's so funny that this has kind of come back to me yesterday while I was at work, and I was thinking, hey, wow, isn't that phenomenal? And this year, 2019, even last year, 2018, and in fact, ever since I've had this YouTube channel, not this one, my other one, my main one, I've been taking it serious more and more. And over the last year, I've been really making an effort to turn this into something I want to eventually run full time, with this as a secondary channel. I'm currently planning on launching a 3rd channel, German language channel, which will cover more or less similar topics as what I'm covering on my main channel. I'm thinking of diversifying or uploading my videos not only to YouTube and Vimeo, but also to Twitch and even to Facebook, and see if that broadens the audience, because I think it's important to just spread the word. And it's so funny that looking back, somebody has already given me this tip, somebody who is very religious, and again I feel reminded of something else that I have heard through that church. And I think this is why that is such an important point to me. Sometimes things, just random people that you've never met say something, and it's related or not related to your own life, but you pick up on certain words and you think, hey man, that was deep, that was deep, man, that spoke to me, And one of the things I remember was one of the people who was working with the church. I think he was the guy who made the projections, or he did the audio system, or I've forgotten it. Again, I don't know his name. I've never met him again, not to my knowledge. And he made this point, or was it the priest? I don't quite remember. He made that point. Do you know, when people say these things and you feel like you're spoken to, you feel this is important to you, that is how God speaks to you. And I don't know why I just put these two things together yesterday, after not having met either him, nor having been to that church, nor having met that woman whose name I can't remember now. I don't know why I just brought these two things together and had this notion that, hey, you were told you need to have a YouTube channel, and you were told you need to spread your message. And not that I've been consciously thinking about that, but I've been consciously developing these projects and taking them more and more seriously, to the point now where I'm thinking, this is what I want to do for a living, you know. And I think that's just phenomenal. Thank you for the lights there, Carl. That's really nice. That makes me look very handsome here in the otherwise very darkened park. So yes, I just wanted to mention that because it's so inspirational. I find that this has in fact already happened. Somebody in the past has told me, you need to do this. And the way I see it is, sometimes it's not so much a random person telling you something random and you say yeah whatever. There is a higher power perhaps at work that is giving you these messages, even if you're not ready for them. But if you are looking back, you think, whoa, actually this has been my mission, my given mission for a while, and I'm good at this. I need to do this. It would be a terrible waste of my time and my talents if I wouldn't take this as serious as I do. And I just thought I wanted to share that with you because I found that very, very inspiring. It's kind of a, how shall we say this? It's something that tells me, you know what, you're on the right path, you're on the right track, you need to just keep going. This is it. This is just keep going with whatever crazy idea you've got next. Do that. People need that. It makes the world a better place. And that's what my life is all about, making the world a better place.